GEGP. What's poppin' with y'all? This is Hot Takes and Trending Topics, hosted by yours truly, Ray G. Get at your boy on X at Ray GQ. That's QUE. And if you are listening to this on the podcast feed and not watching the video on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and vice versa. If you're watching on YouTube and not subscribed, 75% of y'all watch my videos that are subscribed. Thank you for that. But the 25% of y'all that are watching and ain't sub, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button, like the content, comment below, and engage with this show. I want this to be a dialogue, a conversation. Every single episode, I'm going to go back through the comments of the prior video and bring one or two of them up and continue the conversation that we had last week. We got a lot of good stuff on tap tonight. And make sure you check out the other content on the channel. We just dropped a video from the Wake Up Show today talking about the rookie wide receivers. Malik Neighbors versus Marvin Harrison Jr., who the real rookie wide receiver one is. So make sure you tap into that video on this channel as well. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because the people continue to talk about NBA versus NFL. There it is, NBA versus NFL. And we got one right here. Level with me, 858535. Hit us up in the comments. And he said this, and I got to get close. You see, I wear glasses. I can't read. We're talking about football players and NBA players being able to play in the NBA. And here was his comment to that conversation. Football demands much more. I don't see LeBron being able to read a defense, run sharp routes, shadow a wide receiver, swim moving O-lineman, prevent a pass rush, tackle a grinder RB, choosing the right gap to shoot, etc., not to mention the required toughness to get hit by a top-tier athlete for an hour. They'd be lucky to be promoted out of the practice squad. I mean, this conversation is continuing to happen. There are a lot of people still talking about, can NBA players play in the NFL? Can NFL players play in the NBA? Again, all I'm going to say, in my argument for LeBron being able to do it, he probably does have the natural athleticism, the physical prowess to go out there and do it, but the mentality, right? We talked about this on the last one. In order to be a football player, to go out there and repeatedly get your shit pushed in, play after play, and it's much longer than an hour. It's the practice that's required. Like, you got to be a little off. If you played in high school, in college, or in the pros, like, you're a little off, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're a little not right in the head. So can these NBA players, or some of them, do they have the requisite athleticism to go out there and do functional football things? Nobody's saying he's going to be Larry Fitzgerald, Justin Jefferson route runner, but does he have the physical tools and skill to go out there and hang from an athletic standpoint? Probably. As would some of the NBA players or NFL players have the requisite athleticism to play basketball. But there's multiple things that are required. Mental toughness, physical toughness from the transition from basketball to the football field, and then everything else that encompasses basketball, which I got to play college football. There's not a chance in hell I could have even played varsity basketball. It's just an interesting topic, an interesting discussion that is going to continue to carry on for a little bit. But let's talk about basketball, and let's talk about one of the biggest names in the sports world. We all know who it is. It's LeBron James. So we ain't talking about LBJ. We're not talking about the king. We're talking about his son, Bronny James. And everybody has known this name of Bronny James for years because he's LeBron James' son, the greatest basketball player on the planet. Yet, Bronny was never viewed as this high-level NBA prodigy prospect. And a lot of times in the NBA, you kind of know when they're coming in from high school, you've got a pretty good indicator of the ones that are going to probably or potentially be lottery picks in the NBA. And this was never Bronny James. Went to USC, I believe he averaged like 15 minutes a game, 4 points. He had the heart issue at the start of the season. He declared for the NBA draft, which a lot of people in the NBA, you can declare, come back. There's nothing that says you can't return to college. But a lot of people tend to think that he was going to return to college, improve his draft stock, go somewhere where he can play his style of basketball. He declares for the draft, and he's staying in the draft. He's staying put, and apparently at the NBA Combine, he looks good. He's hanging his own. He's handling his own. He's hanging in there with all those guys. You know, Reed Shepard projected to go high in the NBA draft. Rob Dillingham out of Kentucky. Both of those guys. I mean, they're not any bigger than Bronny James. Much more skilled than Bronny James. But they're both 6'1". All those guys 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". Bronny James came in at 6'1.5", no shoes, 210. I'm like, damn, he should have played safety, wide receiver. But you see this quote from Bronny. He says, putting that Bronny James narrative out there more instead of being LeBron James' son. That's really important to me. And that was his goal in the interviews with NBA executives. We're not about to talk about what caliber prospect he is. I'm not about to dive down that pool because I'm not experienced in that. I don't follow high school recruit. Again, Cooper Flag, those guys, you know who the top guys are pretty much years in advance. Everybody knew it was Zion and LaMelo when they were coming out. You know who these guys are. Today in the draft combine scrimmage, 19 minutes, 4 points, 4 rebounds. Again, looked really good, according to all reports, that Bronny James looked good. And there are some reports as you scroll the old timeline that thinks he could potentially be a back-end first-round pick based on things other than his basketball. Now, let's talk about that for a minute. Because I was thinking, in the NBA, what really matters, you're looking for those lottery guys. And yes, every now and then, every blue moon, you get players like a Nikola Jokic that was picked in the second round to become one of the greatest basketball players that we've ever seen. Draymond Green, love him or hate him, what he brought to the Warriors defensively. I mean, that was a hit. That was a massive find to be able to get a player like Draymond out of the second round of the NBA draft. But Bronny James, what's he going to bring in NBA franchise? Well, there are reports that the moment he's drafted, like the value of that team just skyrockets immediately. And he's going to be in the G League, starting in the G League. So when you're talking about a player that can help sell out G League arenas, what price point can you put on that? He says he has never said that he wanted to play with his pops. Never. That's what Bronny James said. He's never wanted to play with his pops. He wants to forge his own path. When you look at father-son pairings in the NBA, it's never happened before. Never happened before. Got close with a couple of guys from, I think, 5 years age gap between, I know, Kobe Bryant and his father, rest in power, Kobe, Bean Bryant, both of them. I know they were about 5 years apart. I think it was like 92 to 96. That was the overlap right there. There were a couple other guys, Gerald Wilkins, I believe, some other players that got close, but this is actually right there. Like Bronny James, he's going to get picked. Somebody's going to take him because of the economic impact that he's going to have on not just that franchise, but maybe parts of the NBA. It's too good to pass up. It's an interesting sort of philosophical standpoint. What's more important, trying to win or selling the tickets? And when you think about what can come from this, like the James family, these people, they are not in the business of losing money. They're thinking 5, 6, 7, 10 steps ahead, playing chess, not checkers. And how phenomenal would it be for down the line, movie producer LeBron James, first full action film in Space Jam 2, The Legacy. You can already see the story in the script for this father-son combination, either playing together or playing against one another. How cool would that be? I know you can look through some other sports other than the NBA, and I believe it's happened in the NFL a few times where father-son combinations have played together, most notably Major League Baseball with Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr., and that's actually not a bad comparison because I would say Jr. at the time when he came into Major League Baseball, the way he played the center field position, the athleticism, the power, the speed, had his own shoe deal. I remember being in the third grade and I wanted the Griffies. Y'all know what I'm talking about, them Nikes with the strap at the top. I wanted the Griffies because of Ken Griffey Jr. So to say maybe he was like the LeBron of the baseball era way back when in the early 90s, maybe. Could be a decent level comparison, but he still didn't live through this social media age and era and information sharing of the internet. This is going to be a fascinating phenomenon to watch. I think an NBA team is going to select Bronny James in the draft somewhere late first, second round. Makes too much financial sense for them not to. And the things that James name brings from the G League, if he gets elevated to the actual NBA roster, what's going to happen? And if he's playing with his father, LeBron James, Bronny James out there making money moves. James family doing some different things. And I'm very interested to see how this one plays out, especially in an NBA draft class that everybody is considered pretty damn stank right now. So let's talk about some football. And I want to spend some time talking about the big time contract that Jared Goff just got. Congratulations to Jared freaking Goff. Jared Goff got paid. I believe it was a 4-year deal. See what he got. 4-year deal, $212 million extension, $73 million signing bonus, $125 over the first 2 years, $165 over the first 3 years, $57 million in 2028, which is an option year. The Detroit Lions have solidified their core for the next 4 or 5 years. They locked up Penei Sewell. Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs out of the first round of the NFL draft last year. Dan Campbell is back. They got their offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson. That Brad Holmes, the general manager, just doing wonders year after year. The Detroit Lions have locked up Jared Goff. And it sparked a conversation inside of our Discord talking about, Jared Goff and how good he is and how much of a pain point this is for potentially other quarterbacks in the NFL. So we're just going to talk through Jared Goff for a little bit. And remember, this is a player that was the number 1 overall pick coming out of Cal. Sean McVay and the Rams selected him. Played very well with Sean McVay and the Rams. Made it to the Super Bowl in LA. Lost to the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. And shortly after that, he was cast off to Detroit for Matthew Stafford. And the bet paid off for the Rams, who in that first year of acquiring Matthew Stafford, hell, they made it to the Super Bowl and they won a Super Bowl. They won it. They got it done. Les Snead and company got the damn job done. Matthew Stafford coming over from Detroit, landing in L.A. Jared Goff goes from Detroit to L.A., goes from L.A. to Detroit and supposed to be cast off. They draft Hendon Hooker. He's going to eventually replace Jared Goff. Well, Jared Goff is the only quarterback in NFL history to throw for 3,000 plus yards and have less than 100 interceptions over his last 30 games. Goff is 22-8. I believe he's got 51 touchdowns to only 13 interceptions. This money was 1,000% earned by Jared Goff. 1,000%. But here's the question. I'm just asking the question. What's this mean for some of the other quarterbacks? What's this mean for Dak Prescott? What's this mean for Dak Prescott, who still remains unsigned by the All-In Dallas Cowboys? Still no extension, he's signed, but no extension from the All-In Dallas Cowboys. Talking about a team that's going to have to pay CeeDee Lamb very, very soon. The price of the brick for CeeDee continues to go up with each wide receiver that signs before he does. Micah Parsons, they can start the smear campaign all they want. Micah this, don't know if he's all in, hard work, front runner, all that shit. You can spin it however you want. There's no doubt about it. Somebody, if not you, Dallas, will make him the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. Whether you agree with it or not, somebody will make him the highest paid player on the defensive side of the ball in NFL history. So what's this mean for old Rain Dakota Prescott? Well, got 2 quarterbacks, both of them roughly around the same age. Dak Prescott about a year older than Jared Goff. Both of these players going into Jared Goff into his age 30 season. Dak Prescott will be 31 at the start of the year. Still very young in terms of NFL quarterback timeline standard. But I asked this question. I'm going to ask y'all right now. Let me know in the comments, who's more accomplished? Dak Prescott or Jared Goff? Who deserves and commands and should be paid more money? Jared Goff or Dak Prescott? And there's a tweet down here showing the highest paid quarterbacks. Here it is right here. 33rd team posted this. Joe Burrow, number 1, $55 million a season. Jared Goff, second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, $53 million. Justin Herbert, $52.5 million. Lamar Jackson, 4th. Jalen Hurts, 5th, followed by Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, whose deal that he signed, I believe, a few years ago looks like a steal for Kansas City, and they will redo that, and he will be number 1 at some point. Josh Allen at number 8, and then tied for 9th, you've got Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, and Matthew Stafford, each making $40 million a season. So let's talk about Dak. Let's talk about Brock Purdy. Let's talk about Jordan Love. And if we scroll up, Colin Cowherd, he said, and we're using this as reference. He said that he would take Jared Goff over Hurts, Prescott, Love, Purdy, and Joe Burrow. Again, Hurts, Purdy, Joe Burrow, Prescott. He's taken Jared Goff over those guys. So let's talk about this for a minute. Burrow, $55 million. Goff, $53. You got Dak down there at $40. What's he commanding? I mean, it is Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, because those are the ones that are due up. Brock, Tua as well. Tua's due. Just led the NFL in passing. But you got Brock, you got Jordan Love. Those are like the next up guys, the young guys that could break the bank here in the future. And unlike Jordan Love, unlike Daniel Jones, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy was not a first-round pick, so his contract is going to come due earlier. Maybe they franchise him. Probably going to be a hefty penny to pay, but maybe they franchise Brock Purdy. But Dak Prescott is up. And the Cowboys continue to talk about being all in. Yet when I'm seeing Jared Goff go out there and command $53 million, and the question was posed to me, who is more accomplished? You're talking about Jared Goff, a quarterback who has played in the Super Bowl. He's won 5 playoff games so far in his career. 5 or 6 playoff games for Jared Goff, opposed to Dak Prescott. I am down here in Dallas and a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. And the answer for me was Jared Goff is more accomplished. Yes, Dak has had some incredible seasons where he was a leader, a front runner at some point in time for NFL MVP. But when you're talking about getting shit done, not turning the ball over, that's what Jared Goff does. He protects the ball. You can call him a game manager all you want to do. But when you're 22-8 over your past 30 with 50 plus touchdowns to only 13 interceptions, that's the type of quarterback you can win with, even if you're not winning because of Jared Goff. And that's one of the questions that I want y'all to respond to as well. Who's more deserving of the money that they get? Is Dak Prescott worth $60 million a year? Is Dak worth 60? Is Jordan Love, if he balls out again this year, he bet on himself, he balls out again this year, what happens to him in the future? Brock Purdy, another deep run in the playoffs. How can you deny him being one of the higher paid quarterbacks? And some people might say, well, it's the team. It's the team. It ain't Brock Purdy. Well, you got to have somebody that conducts the ship, that captains the thing. You have the dopest boat out there, right? You can have a fucking killer yacht. But if you ain't got nobody to drive and navigate that thing, like, what are you doing? You've got an expensive toy that you don't know how to use. And it's hard to find quarterbacks. So many people think I'll just dump that quarterback. No big deal. You can plug and play. You can't just plug and play. And if it was that easy to find quarterbacks in the NFL, we wouldn't have just selected 6 of them in the first round this year, with 3 of them being players that people didn't even think were deserving of first-round picks in the first place. QBs don't grow on trees. Do I think Goff is better than Burrow, Hurts, Dak Prescott? Who else did Cowherd say? Whoever else he said, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy. Do I agree with that? I don't know, but it's hard to say that there are many other quarterbacks on this list, Jalen Hurts, Purdy, Burrow, that are more accomplished than Jared Goff. What say y'all? Talk to me. Who's more accomplished? Which quarterback would you rather have? And which quarterback do you think you would pay? What team do you want? If you're a fan of the Packers, of the Niners, of the Dolphins, of the Dallas Cowboys, y'all want Jerry Jones paying Dak 60? Me, I don't want that. But you ain't. I've also, as a Cowboys fans, y'all remember the Chad Hutchinson days, Drew Henson? Remember those days, trying to find a quarterback? Vinny Testaverde, all these random-ass quarterbacks coming in that couldn't get anything done. You happen to hit Golden Strike goal with Tony Romo. But other than that, it was a nasty time in Dallas before Romo came along. After Aikman, it was struggle bus city till Tony Romo came along. And after Romo, they lucked into Dak Prescott. But I would be very mindful and cautious of being just so dismissive that we can just replace Dak, find somebody else, be done with him, and be all good. This new TV money is going to allow these teams to pay these players. And I'm sitting back looking at Dallas like, y'all got a damn decision to make. And I am not optimistic on what the Cowboys could do, might do. But Dak Prescott definitely feels like the new Kirk Cousins. He feels like the new age Kirk Cousins, the 30-year-old vet who can put up monster numbers, that there will always be excuses made as to why they maybe not be able to get it done in the playoffs. Kirk was in the news today, too. He said that there was no reason to feel salty about that draft pick. We're not going to dive into that again tonight. But I'm going to just say, when I just read the headline, being upset, being salty, feeling some type of way ain't going to do us no good. He's salty. He's upset. He feels some type of way. And I'm just very curious how this season is going to play out. Something, right? You picked the quarterback number 8. Not in the 20s. Not in the second round. 8 overall. Top 10 over Rome Odunze. Brock Bowers, Olu Fashanu, Troy Fatano, whoever you wanted. You picked the quarterback at 8, but you paid a quarterback $100+ million. Guaranteed. I don't know. Kirk feels some type of way, though. And I'm just going to share this with y'all. You can take it. You can leave it. Call bullshit, whatever you want. I am just being a conduit of the information and the things that I've been told. I was on a Spaces with Dez Bryant last fall, right after the Trey Lance trade. After Trey Lance was traded to the Dallas Cowboys, Dez jumped on a Spaces with his personal corner team, invited me to join the stage with him, and we chopped it up. It was a bunch of us on there. And he was very candid, very open, and talking about his experiences in the NFL and things he's seen, things he's heard, things that we say in the media on the outside that just aren't consistent with what actually happens on the NFL field. And what he was talking about was the year that Dak Prescott took over for Tony Romo. And what Dez said on the Spaces was, we talk a lot about these quarterbacks being mentors to the rookies, being there to help guide them, usher them along, show them the ropes in the NFL. And when you really think about what's going down, man, that's a damn job. Like, we watch it and we play fantasy football and we bet it's a game and we have fun and we cheer and we laugh and we get excited, but that's their job. Like, they wake up and go to fucking work. Work is football. Work is the playbook. Work is preparation on your body. And sure, there are probably situations and jobs where you've got great colleagues and great coworkers that want to help you be better, elevate, promote, teamwork. Probably a lot of other jobs where people are like, man, the hell with you. I'm trying to go get that. I need that promotion. I need that raise. You do your job, I'm going to do my job. What Dez told me was there was little to no mentorship going down in the practices behind the scenes. And he said everybody knew it. It was a little uncomfortable, but it was a business. I'm not going to relay everything that he said. If you happen to catch that, you know what I'm talking about, or you can go find it. But this idea that Kirk Cousins is going to be there to help mentor Michael Penix, I don't know about that. Just based on what I've been told and what I've heard and what I know, I don't know about that. But that is going to be an interesting situation to watch play out. And with that being said, the NFL schedule release is this week. Let's get it. Tomorrow, NFL schedule drops. We get to finally see who's playing who's playing what. Let's take a look at the strength of schedule real quick. Let's take a look at the toughest schedules so far, or the schedules in their ranking of the 2024 season. So the top 5 most difficult schedules, and again, I got to lean in because the OGQ's eyes are bad. The Browns, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Texans, and the Packers have the most difficult schedule based on the opponent win percentage from last year. All those opponents over 500 win percentage, okay? The only teams that play, opposing teams that have less than a 500 win percentage, you've got the Colts, the Eagles, the Titans, the Cards, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, the Bucks, the Chargers, and you can't see on here. Let me scroll down a little bit. The Panthers, the Bears, the Saints, and the Falcons. So easier strength of schedule at the bottom, or difficult strength of schedule up top. The AFC North is going to be brutal. You've got Cleveland, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh inside the top 3. 1, 2, 3 is the most difficult schedules to play here in 2024. Bengals kind of lucked out. They're down there towards the middle right there at 0.502. Dallas Cowboys in there, one of the more difficult schedules. The New England Patriots, I'm thinking about Drake May, rookie quarterback. Tough for the Patriots. Look at the Giants up there, one of the more difficult schedules in the NFL. So there you go, New York Football Giants, the Buffalo Bills up there with the tough schedule. Detroit, the Rams, the Niners. And again, at the bottom of the list, some of the easier schedules on the season, the Atlanta Falcons. Hey, maybe an opportunity for Kirk Cousins to go out there and just slice and dice, and we never see Michael Penix. The New Orleans Saints, the Bears with Caleb Williams, Bryce Young in Carolina, and the Chargers as the bottom 5 teams for strength of schedule. So these are the easiest strength of schedules according to win percentage last year. And we also have some matchups in the NFL. So let's take a look at some of the matchups that we know. talk about them really quickly before we get out of here. Monday Night Football, we've got the Jets and the 49ers. So the Jets traveling all the way to Santa Clara to play. Hey, Robert Saleh's former team got to go against Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy. Hell of a test. Week 1, primetime game. Last time Aaron Rodgers was in this position, it did not end well for him. It's going to be a tough game. This is going to be a welcome back for Aaron Rodgers versus this team. And Brock Purdy coming in. Hey, this is year 3. I know the first year he didn't start the whole year, but this is year 3, and this is a hell of a matchup coming out the gate with the Jets. My Dallas Cowboys go to Cleveland week 1, and I think the books have the Cowboys favored by 1.5 in that one. I don't know. I mean, welcome to the NFL Tyler Guyton having to go up against Myles Garrett at the 4:30 Eastern slate in your first game. You're gonna have 2 rookie offensive linemen. Who knows who's going to be at running back? Who the hell knows who's playing linebacker? I don't know. But the Cowboys got the Browns opening night. You got Friday night in Brazil. Let's get it. Brazil. That's got to be a fun time out there. The Packers are traveling. Well, they're all traveling, but the Packers will play as the road team versus Philadelphia versus the Eagles. So the Eagles open up with Jordan Love. You got Hurts and Love. And then the Thursday night opener that was announced the other day, you've got the Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs, a rematch of the AFC title game last year, Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be a really good stretch. I am excited as hell for the schedule release tomorrow. We also got a couple of games. The Bills and the Dolphins are going to play the Thursday night football game on Amazon. This is going to be the first one. So Tua versus Josh Allen on Thursday night in week 2. It's just, I can't freaking wait. Football season is literally, y'all, right around the freaking corner, and it's almost time to get active. So we'll just, we're not going to go live tomorrow. So the schedule for HTT moving forward, because I've been trying to figure out the best way to do this. We're either going to record Monday nights for Tuesday release, but we did the show on Sundays, and then on Fridays. This show will come out on Friday night. So I appreciate y'all being in the damn building tonight. Let me hit my music because I love this song. It's just the vibe every single time, every single week. Hot takes, trending topics. I got y'all covered. We got y'all covered. Didi, if you stuck around to the end of the video and you found the information actionable and or it's entertaining, hit that thumbs up button for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, 25% of y'all be watching the videos and not subscribe. That ain't cool. That ain't cool. Subscribe, support the channel, support the movement. And if you want more from me, get at your boy on X at RayGQ. I appreciate you being in the building. Thank y'all for rocking with everything that we do over here at DD Fantasy Football. We got a lot of dope content. If you missed the video at the top, man, make sure you check out our Marvin Harrison versus Malik Neighbors debate. Old Derek Brown from Fantasy Pros, Jay Rich had a nice little conversation. And then tomorrow night, Underdog Fantasy Live. My dog Scott Connor is going to do a Best Ball Mania draft live. So make sure you tapped in. And if you're not signed up on Underdog Fantasy, where's the promo code at? Not the comment. Use the promo code ALLGAS for a deposit match up to $250. New promo from Underdog. And you get like a special pick that's pretty much a lock to hit. So make sure you go do that. Use promo code ALLGAS. And we'll see y'all over here on the channel very soon. Y'all have a good night. I'm out. Peace.